sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me, where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we talk outdoors in the next 90 minutes.
Talk outdoors, indoors.
Outdoors, indoors, that's right. And you recognize that voice. Of course, this is the first Saturday of the month. It's hard to believe. This November the 3rd, a lot's going on. And Dave Gabbert is with us.
Yep. Graciously decided to come down
good morning.
Get a free meal when I come.
That's right. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
Now, Gene Smith is still dealing with some family issues, and we got to continue to lift up our prayers to Gene's wife, Vicki. So she's having some health issues, and Gene, so far, has not showed up. I don't think he'll be here, but instead his place, Bill Cooksey's going to slip in here in a few minutes because Bill couldn't be here last week. He's coming this week, and he's a busy man with Vanishing Paradise. But Shelby McCall taking all of our hard work off of us and making it easy for us just to gab for a while. And, you know, we mentioned...
We actually need to see if we can get her hazardous duty pay, as they say.
How do we know she doesn't already have
I don't
know.
You know, you might have that already in your check.
She does. She probably does. But, hey, busy time. First Saturday in November, not only is this kind of kickoff always my fun time with Dave and usually Gene in the office, but today I'll be heading out right after the show, going up to Hardeman County near Whiteville on the McCrory Farm on this opening day of the black powder or muzzleloader or whatever you want to call it.
Looks like you're going to get to keep your powder dry.
It does. We had a little rain
earlier.
Going to be a beautiful day, and I'm going to slip in there. I've been watching my deer on camera that we have posted out there, and a lot of them are late arriving. I hope they'll be waiting on me when I get there. But today, I think it goes through the 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
It will go through the 16th.
And then there's no day off. I mean, you just...
No, it's just...
I've always wanted to be really maybe a day of calming down before the gun season starts on the third Saturday in November. I don't know. I used to like it when it was in the middle of the season. We had during the rut in December, we would have a week there, seemed like, or I don't remember, but I just liked it then instead of on the front end. Now, you worked for the TWRA for 85 years, and so, I mean, your thoughts on having it before gun season?
It really, I don't think it makes that big of a difference because
other than temperature,
you talked about calming down. Well, even if you weren't out there hunting, there's still people would be out in the woods moving around scouting.
That's true.
Looking.
That's true.
So, you know, the deer kind of get patterned more on movement.
Yeah.
You know, than anything else. That's why, you know, some of the discussions we've had that I'm a firm believer after the first couple of days, opening day and the next. Yeah. You know, you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn. Just, you know, get up, have breakfast, and get to the stand by 9 o'clock. Cause
I've seen that on my
and
camera.
You get settled down because everybody's so ingrained about going before daylight, and then by 10 o'clock they're coming out.
Yes, they are.
You
when
know,
the deer are coming in,
and then the deer start moving again. So
seen that on
camera
camera.
I've killed just as many deer between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this, since I'm getting a late start today, that hopefully my wife will be able to go with me and be in the blind with me. And speaking of the blind, I don't know, the blind leading the blind. Here he comes. Our good friend Bill Cooksey is slipping in here. Good morning, Bill.
I'm here. I just need more coffee.
He needs
Just
more coffee.
coffee.
More coffee. Glad to have you, Bill, with us. We're talking right now about a little bit about what's going on in the muzzleloader season is going on starting today. And me and Dave were talking about, I can remember when part of it was in December, and talking a little bit about the difference between having it now and go right into gun season or having it later. And we're talking about movement of deer, and I've seen on my camera, watching the deer movement, I am seeing lots of deer movement, not real early, but later on. Mm-hmm. And so today I'm going to try something different. That's what Dave said. He's seen more deer killed between 10 and 2 a lot of times because just the movement. And I know I've hunted with you on opening day of muzzleloading season several times. Mm-hmm. In fact, have missed several times, I think. And you were witness to that.
Right.
But
I only remember one.
Well, I remember it very well, too. I know I took some ribbing from a lot of folks at that time. I don't know how, but we were broadcasting live on the radio, and so the pressure was there. But today, since we don't take calls and still do our show here and everything. But to me, if there's gun season is pretty well, you have your toys and things like that. The guns have not changed. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the change between when I started muzzleloading,
right,
30 years ago, now you're a big black powder man, Dave, and you're my Wahoo man, so to speak. I can't think of anything that has changed more dramatically in deer hunting. Maybe the crossbow, something like that, but the muzzleloader.
Like you, I started with an open-sighted Hawken. Was the first muzzleloader I had.
Yes, I think he's got mine. He's got mine.
Yeah, I bought his.
He's bought mine.
I bought his Renegade from him.
Yeah. It's the point now, as far as the rifles, good grief, some of this stuff is accurate as far as the average guy is really capable.
Yeah.
So you're not, other than a fast second shot, there's not a whole lot of difference for most of us between it and a centerfire rifle.
Well, that's why there's no day off between seasons, I think. You go right
I think
from
that's a lot of it.
The muzzleloader in that. And, I can remember the patch and the buffalo bullet and all these things and the real smoke. Coming out, and it was to me. I don't want to say anything because some people, but that was true black powder hunting.
Sure,
and you'll say that, won't you, Dave? I mean, until Toby Knight came along, if I'm not mistaken, in the 70s or whenever it was, and came up with the inline muzzleloader,
and probably one of the biggest changes is over the years is the propellants, that was developed because.
Yeah, I had the round ball and stuff it down there with
and
a
lot
patch.
of people, because if black powder is an explosive, so a lot of stores quit carrying it because you got to have a special magazine can that sets in.
Yeah,
you can't get it shipped in like common carry, stuff like that. On a lot of shipping companies will not deal with it. There's some, So, but as I say, the modern propellants, when Hodgson introduced power decks and stuff,
I still got some, I think.
Really revolutionized for most people when they got it in pellet form.
Oh, yeah, I love my pellet form.
It made simple. You just drop in pellets because really when you're dealing with a regular rifle, and you buy a box of cartridges off the shelf, the factory's done the ballistics, everything for you. You just sight it in.
Unless they're on discount.
But black powder guns, mine, little range time because there's one optimum load my rifles shoot.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and to find that, you know, where you have to play with them a little bit, but you know, with the black powder, but
you have the ability, and Bill will say this too, to get off more shots now because of all the different ways to. I was watching a Glenn Ford movie the other night, and he had these women's in the covered wagon. Man, they were popping them, knocking them guys down with a black powder rifle. And I said, "What are they doing? They're changing it." And, you know, and I said, the old timers. If you watch, you know, it took some real effort to go hunting, and you had to be a good marksman. The Indians were coming at you. You didn't. You had to be speed and things like that.
And but and there was kind of a distance thing, that the misconception, because reading a lot of the old journals, you know, some of the Mountain Man journals. There was one at a rendezvous.
Yeah,
a bunch of guys standing around, and an antelope walked out. And one guy had his rifle, and he shot the antelope. And they said, if they remarkable how far of a shot it was just 100 steps.
100 steps.
100 steps.
And like Dave said, something people might want to look at, and it's what I had. I have to use loose 777 to get because I have to hit right at 110 grains to get my best accuracy out of my rifle. And you can buy two. You can put in 2 30-grain pellets and a 50-grain. But one day I ended up not being able to find 30 grains before season, so I've gone to loose powder.
Loose powder.
Well, so keep your options open, and you can maximize your results.
So what is the most famous black powder gun ever?
The most famous black powder
most
gun?
well-known. Came out of a movie. It was owned by Hatchet Jack.
Oh, yeah, you know.
And Robert Redford just happened to run over to Hatchet Jack.
And that was one of the things that revolutionized when the movie Jeremiah Johnson come out.
That's right.
That's when the black powder craze with the Hawkins and everything really took off.
Yeah.
And but
okay, all right. Well, it's almost like, you know, river runs through it. That, you know, fly fishing became all.
But one thing, since it's muzzleloading season, if you ain't made it to the stand yet, one thing I want to remind you.
What's that?
That don't shoot no bobcats.
That's right.
Because bobcat season does not open till the 16th with trapping season.
Okay.
And there might be somebody out there have a bobcat walk in front of them. They say, I can shoot this bobcat. Well, you might be answering to the man.
As I told Dave before we take this break, I have been in the stand with someone who did kill a bobcat.
Yeah.
And we'll talk later about that. All right, let's take our first break. Then we're going to talk women's clothing here. I know it's important for a lot of you folks out there. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.